Welcome to the Neg Entropy Chronicles, and I'm back with another video. So remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell to be alerted anytime I drop a new video. So, accountability. Now I have a story for y'all. It's gonna be story time. This is gonna be a new segment where it's different from the other ones, where I start with something that we already know what's going on, but these are gonna be new stories that you have no idea about. But I got a special guest in the building, and it is my sister, and she is going to break it down for you, and you're going to hear us discuss it live right now. Say what's up.
Hey, so basically there was a situation that happened last night where my fiance was awakened in the middle of the night with some extremely loud banging. He thought somebody was breaking into his apartment, so he got up. Well, it turns out that it was actually his neighbor. His neighbor has an ex-girlfriend, and the ex-girlfriend was trying to break down the door, trying to get in. Apparently, she believed that there was another female in the apartment, and she wanted to get in. So the neighbor was telling her, there was no one in there. However, he just didn't want her to be there, and he didn't want to let her in. So they end up calling the police. The police get there. They let the ex-girlfriend leave the scene without questioning her, without, arresting her, any of that. And the neighbor, he was extremely distraught. He was upset. He was telling the police officers that, if it was the other way around, there would be some issues. He would be in handcuffs or in jail by that time. And, at that point, he was really upset. The next day, the apartment manager and the maintenance came and actually had to rebuild him a whole new door. So the ex-girlfriend went on her way with her kids and pretty much didn't have to deal with any of the responsibility of what she did.
Oh, pause it. So she brought the kids with her?
The kids weren't in the building, but
they were in the vehicle?
We don't know where the kids were.
Okay, so we're guessing. Okay, cool. I'm with
3 kids for sure.
So 3 kids for sure. All right, so kicks down the door. So all right, so when you were telling me before, all right, so let me preference this for y'all. I got the call last night, and I was like, nah, man, we can't talk about it. We got to talk about it tomorrow for this video when I get back in town. So when she kicked down the door, did she ever go into the apartment?
I don't think he allowed her to physically get into the apartment. I think he, from what I understood, kept her out purposely because he did have someone else inside the apartment.
Well, you skipped that part of the story. See, I was going to get into that.
Okay.
But you said she was like, do you got somebody in the house? And he was like, no, I don't. I just don't want you here.
Correct.
All right, so keep going. My bad.
So she actually never got into the apartment because when the police arrived, that was something he brought up, that if she had actually physically got in, then he would have been in his legal rights to shoot her for breaking and entering. So that was something that, he mentioned to the police, but she did not physically get in.
All right, so let's preference this. This is not, what I'm going to show you is that this was in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio?
Yes.
All right, so Cleveland, Ohio is where this actual scenario happened. So Cleveland, Ohio has I think it's a kingdom doctrine or something similar, where in Florida you have the stand your ground law. In Cleveland, they have something similar to that. I don't know the actual statement or the verbiage of the law, but that's what they have. So when she told me this, I'm like, wait a minute. Now, backstory. So the fiance has heard them more than once. One time they were arguing. What was it? Go ahead and explain that part.
One night, during nights where most people are asleep, so I would say, after 1 a.m. or so, arguing for at least 3 hours.
3 hours? Oh, yeah, that's right, 3 hours.
And my fiance specifically mentioned how he wouldn't have had that much material to bring to a discussion or argument for 3 hours. So it was definitely a long disruption overnight.
Yeah, so imagine being asleep and you hear people arguing in the middle of the night for 3 hours. Now, that's the backstory. But based on, because she's leaving out stuff, I get it. I'm putting her on the spot. She doesn't like doing this, so I appreciate her even doing this in the first place. But let's talk about it for real. Another part that she left out is that the woman, as the man explained it, is a woman who will not get over him. All right? When he was telling the police officers this. Now, let's one it up. She is a registered nurse, so that means she actually has a career. She has children, all of these things. She drives to a man's house, is kicking on the door. Not once. Because think about it. Banging on the door so loud that the neighbor hears it, gets up, runs out thinking somebody's trying to break into his apartment. It's not the case. This woman is just going ape on another door, kicks the door down, has to leave, but no arrest, property damage, all of these things. Now, let's look at it in its totality. He says it's an ex-girlfriend. If she's trying to get into the door, yo, let me in. No, I don't want you here. Is there a woman in there? No, I just don't want you here. Don't get me wrong, he lied. Because there's no reason to tell you the truth. I'm not with you. I don't want you here. Because if you was my lady and you had a key, you would just be able to open the door. But you're not able to open the door because why? You don't have a key. Which means what? You do not have the entitlement of being here because you do not live here. You don't pay rent, none of these things. But you felt entitled. You are also a very toxic individual. Now, there might be some people that listen to my show on my YouTube and be like, hey, well, obviously, he was leading her on, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter. He may have been leading her on, but the day he told her you can't come in here, she had no rights to the house. She doesn't have a key. She don't pay rent. She has no legal obligations to that place. She used to live there. Is that not correct? She used to live there. Mm-hmm. And her and the kids did not live there afterwards. So obviously, if the kids and her are no longer there, what does that mean? They ain't together. Because no one just gets rid of kids. Like, you know what I mean? Am I wrong? Like, no man is going to get rid of kids.
Right.
Because if she's coming home, but there's no kids in the house, that means what?
They're her kids. And
then they ain't together no more. They don't go together. It's all over. But my aspect of accountability really stands on the point that if it was a man and a woman that's in the house and he kicks down that door, he would have handcuffs. There would be no question about it. You see what I'm saying? And let's also talk about accountability. So accountability is based on what? Equality, right? You have to be accountable for your actions. Now, equality-wise, if this was a man who did it, what would we say? Well, why would he think it was okay to go to the house? Why would he think it was okay to bang on the door? Now, the person says, I don't want you here. Where was it at any point when she was kicking down that door, did she take accountability and be like, I'm really wilding right now. I am kicking on the door. After the first kick, you should, well, really before that, but let's just say we get to the kick. She kicked the door and be like, yo, I am really tripping. I need to go. Like, what am I doing right now? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, after you kick a door, like, you're going to be like, yo, I'm really wilding. Well, first off, I'm going to be tripping. If I get in my car and start driving, I'm like, yo, I'm spazzing right now. Like, I am really spazzing. I have lost all control. I'm driving past the street. Who car at his house? Like, you know what I mean?
There's
or whatever.
A lot of moments of reality check there, for sure. Where you're like, okay, this step here, this step here, this step here, to where you are actually at, to where you commit the crime, honestly.
Yeah, it was a crime. You know what I mean? It really was a crime. Because you kicked down a door, you broke property that wasn't not only his, it was a apartment's facilities door, which means that you tore up public property. That in itself is a crime. But because she is a woman, now this is not trying to be sexist, we talking facts. This was a woman, so they decided then, we gotta let her slide. It's a woman. She's emotional. Men are not allowed to be emotional like that. But this woman was emotional. So that's like, well, she get to go home. Imagine if she kicked down the door and the dude was just like, boom! And let her feel, something that don't let you come back the next day after you get hit with it. What would they be saying? Oh my God, he's horrible. He just shot a woman and she was just trying to see if she really loved him or not. Whatever lie they want to make up. It would just be man kills woman.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
No accountability.
No accountability. Because my sister and I, when we have conversations, we talked about equality. I should do this for another video, but whatever. We on the tangent right now. Let's just get it. So, one time we were having a conversation about accountability. And let's really talk about accountability. Now, in the workforce, I do believe in equal pay. So let me stand forth and say this. If we do the exact same job and we're doing the exact same work, everything is even, yes, you should be paid just like I'm being paid. Period. There should not be a wage gap in that realm. We're not talking about that. We're talking about equality on an everyday aspect. Let me ask y'all this. I want y'all to comment on it. Please comment on it. If somebody breaks into the house, you and your girl is there. If we talking about equality, what would happen if you looked at your girl like somebody broke in the house? You need to go check it out. What do you think will happen with y'all relationship?
Absolutely. She's going to look at him like, are you kidding me right now? You're supposed to be the protector. You're supposed to make sure I'm okay, not the other way around.
And then what do they say in the media? She's going to shame him for asking her to go check the problem. But you want equal rights.
Right.
Bill Burr said it best. He was like, you know why men get paid more? You know why? And they was like, why? He was like, when the Titanic sunk, who got the boats? You remember the movie? They said, the women and the children get the boats.
Right.
And the dudes had to sit there and be like, bye, baby. I love you. We get the extra pay because we got to take the L's. Like, you know what I mean? We got to take that extra step when no one else wants it. You know what I mean? There was one video I did see this. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened, but some people broke into the house. And, they coming in with the guns out. The wife came out with the gun and started blasting. You didn't even know it was the wife yet. You just saw the cameras. All you see is them come in like, making them moves. Bullets start flying. You just see, like in the video, you just start seeing stuff exploding. And they running. You know what I mean? And the wife is like, bah, 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 bah. I don't know if the husband was there or not, but she was well trained in her shooting. Like, she was making it work for her. And I feel like a lot of times we make the mistake in feeling like there's no such thing as equality outside of work. I've worked at jobs where I've done more work than the other people that were in my position. When I'm talking about pushing out files, I was 1,000 calls ahead of the next person. How much do you think I should have been paid more than the other person next to me? If I'm 400, sorry, that was wrong. 400 calls ahead than the next person. And we're all doing the same job, but I'm 400 calls ahead. Should I not be paid more?
You would think so, for sure.
You would think so. But a lot of times in my movements, I knew I was shorted because at the time I was a single man. I had no responsibilities. I feel like women get certain positions because they know they're responsible. When you have kids, things like that, you have a responsibility level because you understand the structure. You got to get your kids to school. You got to get them up, dressed, go to school. You work, you get off, you have that structure planned, and you're always on point. What do they think about with single people? Oh, they're going to go out, get drunk, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. But when you look at it in the realm of violence, people don't deem women as violent.
Right.
Ever.
like you said, it's more geared towards the emotional standpoint of it. If a woman acts out, as in this particular situation we're talking about, she was emotional or she was in her feelings or whatever. When a man does something like that or behaves that way, it's because he's violent, he's angry, he's unstable.
So, shout outs to everybody who listened to this video. There were some technical difficulties and the video stopped early. We actually had about 3 more minutes left in it. But if you want to hear any more after this video and you want us to do part 2, please subscribe onto this video, like, share, comment, and let us know if you want the second part of it, and we'll bring it to you. All right, everybody?